We must never become desensitised to violence on the streets of this country, and I'm afraid the level of violence that we're now seeing in London is an absolute national disgrace. I mean, I've just seen this article from My London, and basically they're talking about 48 hours of violence in the capital. There's 5 shot and 8 stabbed. 5 people shot and 8 people stabbed in a single weekend. Shootings occurred in Brixton, Croydon, Hackney. Stabbings in Hackney, Harlesden, Islington, Southwark and Holborn. This is absolutely disgraceful, and I just want to go through these list of incidents so people can understand the level of violence we're now seeing on the streets of the capital. 2 men were shot in Brixton in a street attack, with reports suggesting the weapon used was a machine gun. A heavy police presence was seen in Shoreditch on Friday night after a police officer was hit with a bottle outside Shoreditch High Street tube station. A man was rushed to hospital after he was shot in the early hours of Saturday morning in Croydon. 2 men are receiving treatment in hospital after being shot and stabbed during a fight in Hackney. A man is recovering in hospital after he was stabbed in a huge brawl in Harlesden. Police have launched an investigation after a man was stabbed multiple times in Islington. A man was rushed to hospital after being stabbed in Burgess Park. 2 men are fighting for their lives after a fight in Holborn resulted in 4 people being stabbed in the early hours of Sunday morning. And then on Monday, from Lambeth Police I saw, they were called to a scene after reports of a man with a gunshot injury. ONS figures show the number of knife crimes in England and Wales has risen to a record high. Around 34% of all knife crimes in England and Wales are now recorded in London alone. And London also saw homicides involving knife crime rise by 28%, while the rest of the country saw a 7% decrease. The latest year was 51% higher for knife crime than when comparable records began in 2011 and is the highest on record. These figures and incidents are absolutely shocking, disgusting, disgraceful. This level of violence going on in our capital over the course of a weekend. As I said, 5 shot and 8 stabbed in 48 hours of horrendous violence. We've got to get far tougher when it comes to law and order. Those carrying weapons need to start receiving mandatory sentences, not slaps on the wrist. And those who commit these violent attacks need to be made an example of. Ladies and gentlemen, we must never become desensitised to this level of violence. I'm going to keep reporting on it. It's important because this is totally unacceptable and needs to be dealt with.